Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I'd now like to move straight into panel session 2, the future trends of Chinese car design. さて、パネルセッション2に入りたいと思います。タイトルは中国車デザインの未来のトレンド。Speakers for this session are, from left, Xiao Jingfeng, Vice President of Design, SAIC Motor Technical Center. Chen Zheng, Global Design Chief, Chang'an Automotive Company. David Hilton, GAC Motors, Advanced Design Director, Shanghai. And our moderator for this session is Ichiro Hatayama, CEO, Milai Corporation. Mr. Hatayama, please.
Okay, we had very exciting session in the session number 1. Was very interesting and exciting. Here we have wonderful guest speakers from Chinese local brands. And Xiao-san, Chen-san, and David, we have much more exciting session in this period of time. So I have fundamental questions. Before we talk about the Chinese market or your brand, and before your presentation, from now on you have presentation. What is the background of yourself? Could you briefly give your background before your presentation, before your each presentation? Presentation starts from now. From Chao-san, you do the first presentation, but could you give your brief background beforehand? Okay. You can start your presentation now by standing. Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. My name is Xiao Jingfeng. I come from Sakamoto, China. This time I want to share my topics, breakthrough in this uncertain era. So this is my photo, yeah. It's every designer take this photo like this, yeah. I learned a lot because so many famous designers you did a lot, so I know how to take that photo. I come from SAIC Volkswagen since 2011. I worked for SAIC Volkswagen 12 years. Then I moved to Sakamoto Group, and I'm responsible for roadway and MG design. Already 8 years, so together 20 years for car design. And I have 2 design studios headquartered in Shanghai and 1 advanced studio in London, all together 300 designer team. And also I did a lot of cars. Yeah, in the past 13 years, our brand very young. Roadway only 13 years and 10 years for MG in China. Yes, we did a lot of production, but this not I present today for everybody, because the Chinese design director stand here is very new, very fresh. You never saw it, yeah. And if I present the cars, no, I'm student, you are master. How can I present it for you? So only thing I want to talk was thinking from Chinese car designer in the past and for future. So before I come to here, my wife asked me questions. Are you sure you really want to go to Tokyo Design Forum? And what language do you want to use? Yes, I want to use Chinese, but not here. Yeah? Only Japanese and English. It looks like a car design. No Chinese car design. Japanese, English. Okay, I can't use this. Can I use the Japanese? No. I only can say, Ohayo gozaimasu. This is the only word I can say. Yeah? Okay, English, not my mother language. So if I read about the translator, is okay translate me to Japanese, correct? Okay. If you can't translate, I found the common language, cartoon. Because in Japan, everybody understands cartoon. Even me, the young customer in China, everybody can understand. If you can't understand my language, yeah, look at picture, no problem. You can understand everything and can take photo, yeah. So as you know, everybody know cartoon is one of the most famous Japanese culture. And since 15 years ago, when I came to Japan, I was shocked because in subway, I saw everybody is looking something, and I close, it's looking cartoon. So in my mind, only child looking cartoon, but in Japan, everybody looking cartoon. The old guy, young guy, children, everybody looking. Why they looking cartoon? So I'm thinking this, yeah, we're really close. You know, when I'm a child, I really know this smart Isho-san. I influenced very much by him. I want to like this, then get some ideas. So look at this image. Everybody in China know this image come from Japan. And somebody tell me, it's cartoon not only influence the people, influence car design, and also in China there are a lot of new things happen. For example, the wind chart. If you write a lot of things, young customers, they never read. They want to look at the photo, look at picture. If could read the picture, we never read the word. This happens in China now, yeah? So, okay, this time I think I take it right way. I use the cartoon to talk about the car design. Look at the pictures my young team member told me. In Japan, look at the Nissan car is really close to this Nissan IMQ concept. Really close to this guy, yeah? It's a comic image. Ask me, are you kidding me? You think this is really have relationship? Yes, they find the evidence. This means the zero side, yeah? You already talked about this relationship between the car and the cartoon. I think right, I found the right way, yeah? And also this car, this brand, is a big influence in China. And my team member told me, this brand is say no to classic proportion and surface. It's good. It's also more popular, worldwide impact. In China market, we need to pay more money for this brand. It's so successful. Now, why I asked somebody with a wristband, why you come buy Lexus? They said, I'm waiting for Lexus MPV. That's really luxury. I said, why? No, I want to show I'm young. It's a rich trend. In China, I will tell about what is young, what's young design. In the past 15 years, Japan and China at the same time we are doing the car industry. Yeah? But now you will see Japan is there. In the first group, we are still here. We are falling behind. We are trying to learn something. And in fact, our neighbor gave us a lot of help. For example, the skills. I remember in the past 20 years, and we got a lot of help from Japan, and we learned how to join sketch, and we learned how to use clay. So this is very important, use the tools and doing modern way how to do the car design. And also I know the car styling. Yeah. If I'm a student, this image is true. I must give back the magazine to the library. I can't keep it for a whole night because it's so expensive. I can't use RMB to buy this magazine. We only pay Japanese yuan. At that time, our government not so many Japanese yuan. Yeah? And we also get a lot of several the Japanese design awards. For example, Rowe I6 and Rowe Mava X. Yeah, we got influenced by Japanese and try to have relationship to the Japanese car design. And you know this, for guys here. It's a must for us. For Chinese car design students, they always talk about the European face, like his face. Always talk his face. This car design face. This phase not for car design phase. Japanese car is for. Now we ask students, who is your fans? Now look, they talk about a lot of Japanese master. Now it's change, time change. Yeah, in front of this master, I am still student. Even I have 20 years car design, I'm still student. Because when they famous, I'm still not born, you know? It is true. Thank you. So this distance between the Chinese car design and the Japanese car design, but we have same price, like this. Big challenge. I'm Chinese car design director. I get the same challenge by my boss. Every day he told me, can you give me really crazy idea, really fun design, and short time, low cost. Everything, every time he challenged me. I think this is not a big challenge. For design team, this is not important. If you're a design director, you must face this challenge. I think the big challenge is uncertain Chinese aesthetics. Do you know this, yeah? The Chinese hot pop. Currently, all the uncertain things element is long history of China, and the big difference, Shanghai or Western and somewhere totally different, and very fast development. Too fast. Sometimes it's too fast, it's not so good. Because sometimes thinking not going there, but the car is already there. They are looking at what's this. And if you develop for him, one day later he turned to there. So that's difficult for design team thinking about this uncertain Chinese aesthetics. And also, in current industry of car, we find lots of uncertain technology. For example, uncertain power. Use the EV, normal engine, and stop normal engine. All time do this EV, are you sure? And something, all another powertrain solution, and uncertain autopilot. Everybody said, I can drive this like this. Are you really sure? So there's also a lot of problems we discuss, and also uncertain theory. A lot of designers working for this kind of things, but they lose a lot of money in the past 2 years. Yeah? So facing also uncertain years, as big user, we must face all the challenges that come from outside. For example, the German cars, Japanese cars, and the American cars. How? The big issue for Chinese brand is how to survive. This is very important. Otherwise, 10 years later, we were gone. We disappear. Because so strong from outside, and the Chinese market is so big, everybody wants to go in. So this is really hard things for the Chinese team and for Chinese design director. How to survive? How can we catch up with you in the competitions? Look, you're already there. We're here. It's so long distance. Yeah, somebody told me we need to focus on design quality, very important. Or we need to focus design language, very important. The car needs to look at like whole family, need to have DNA. Yeah, like Volkswagen, everything same, like before I did. But it's enough for us. I'm really sure if we can get this, we're really successful in future, we can survive. The answer maybe is no. So this is basic and necessary, but if we still only focus on there, we will get a problem later. So what we need to go? So we need a breakthrough. We have to think about another way. Now in China, very popular word is the internet. We talk about so many things, and so hot word is internet. And not only for you buy something internet, but also in the car design, we influence a lot. And I want to ask a question, why is the internet development so well in China? Not in another way. Look at this. You eating something like 2 hands. We can do like this. Yeah? So this is the reason why internet is so popular in China. This I gave the reason to answer to you. So we really like this kind of technology, the internet. How bring the internet to the car design? This big challenge for us, yeah? Okay, I think Japanese eat the same food. That means internet also popular in Japan. It's true. Yeah, I remember something in 2017. Yeah, Mr. Fujimoto and Mr. Naga leading more than 40 car designers to visit my studio. I stand there, I make a really good speech to the design team. I said, we need to do car with internet car design something. Then one Japanese car designer stand up said, we don't need the internet car in Japan. Oh, sorry. It's shock to me. Are you really sure? We eat same food, yes, same way, but why you don't need this? So it's big thinking for me. Okay, because different countries may be different use. Okay. So internet has affected all aspects of China. And when I come to here, ask my team member, please tell me some new thing. Then my team member told me, do you know planting tree by walking? I said, I don't know. When you're walking, then somebody planting a tree for you. And also crude chicken, I can't explain this. If you have interest, you can check it by internet. Yeah? So there's a lot of new using in China. And also, it's very quickly Double 11 festival. Only one night. The sales volume will be 213.5 billion RMB, just one night. And use 1 week, everybody can get the things he booked in the internet. So it's crazy, yeah? This guy earns a lot of money. And also in the big mountain, farmers can sell goods by internet. It's very popular. It's not like before you need to send the goods to the city and sales. Totally different and influenced a lot by the internet. And also we will see thanks to Mr. Trump, or the American president. He talked about so much 5G, then everybody know Chinese 5G. Yes, we are from the follower to the leader 5G. And also how influenced by this technology to the car design is our task. And also, Chinese young customer perspective for car have given his opportunity changed. For example, before they think the brand very important. If one buy a car, brand very important. And now they want to change to experience because they want to test different brands. For example, the Latvian, it's normal using the car. The red, it's totally new. You can control the car by voice and can service by the car design. Yeah? And also we launched a new car, we can Face ID. Somebody feel not so comfortable, I don't know. Somebody don't like this Face ID, but in our country, they feel very high technology. No? Okay, now in the future, we'll focus on service design. 3 points, it's proactive service. Second, open ecosystem. And third, simplified in user interaction. And also in the future, we will find our own breakthrough point. In Chinese market, we will feel something very clearly. For example, the German car, they focus the driver. The Japanese car focus space. And we focus internet. Maybe this very clearly image for a Chinese customer. And how to get this? We need to find the talent students. We don't want everybody to say Chinese design, it's copy design. We need to find good talented students. Then we start through a SEC Design Talent Award. We are already, this year already 7th, and after 2 weeks, we will get the final result, who will win this SEC Design Challenge this year. And also we give really strong relationship to the kid. We want planning a seat for car design. Maybe in the future, the design director will one of them. Yeah, we try to training our whole, fans for car design. Okay, so facing an uncertain area, we need to think about how to do it. The uncertain means great opportunity, and also welcome all the design masters that come to China together with and support our sector and focus on our next step. And also we also need really confidence for car design. Just do it. If we think correct, do it. Don't think about it too much. And also, I want sell one car, launch the last motor show.
This is my vision. A vision to lead the future. It's a vision so vast, so elegant, so limitless, holding possibilities so profound, its implications could overwhelm you. But I can control it. I can connect to its soul. Live every inch of it. My vision helps me touch the sky. Do what I want to do. Be where I want to be. It's not easy to come by, because the vision I have is a vision of true intelligence. In the era of 5G power, this vision will take me to an unlimited world. This is Vision I, Vision Intelligence.
Yes, I really want to share a lot of things with you, but this very important is time control. I think I already in the limited time finish it. If I can't finish, he will show the red dot for me. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Shao-san. It was fantastic and very exciting presentation.
Thank you.
All through the way to the cartoon, using cartoon language.
Yeah.
It was fantastic.
Thank you.
You passed 5 minutes. The rest of the 5 minutes, maybe you will be penalty. You will be.
I really 5 minutes.
No, it's okay.
I really nervous.
It was
Quick.
fantastic. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you.
So Chen-san, no violation, please, this time. But before you start, you briefly explain about your background. Thank you.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Mr. Sao have a very interesting speech, and he make you guys happy. But my job is make you guys thinking. Okay, my name is Chen Zhen. I come from Chang'an Automobile. Maybe I can use this stage. It's okay, it's okay. It's a great pleasure to be here, have this opportunity to have a discussion with you guys about the design. Thanks for wonderful shares, and also thanks for the canned sponsorships, especially this morning, Simon about the Toyota's system design, and also Mr. South about the culture is introducing. I think it's really interesting. But that is what happened now. And I hope my speech can give you the answer. Why is that like that? As a designer and frankly visitor to Japan, I always see lots of high-level design works, which I really admired and also appreciate. From the airport to the hotel, from a postcard, before which Mr. Sao showed you us, and also to the vehicles. Japanese design has deeply rooted people's life, daily life, with temperature and also craftsmanship. Every time I see the good work, I will ask myself, and what is the design and what do we need it? And where does it come from? Where does it lead to? Based on those questions, I would like to share some of my experience and observation towards Chinese car industry. I know many people, and maybe around the world, many people interested about this giant, big, really huge in marketing. But what happened there, and also what they are thinking about, and which kind car they will buy, and the new energy or intelligence car, or the, like Mr. South said, the internet car. I hope I can give you an answer. Okay. Firstly, if we take a look at this era, the more unstable the era is, the more cares will be drawn from the people to the development of it. Look at those two graphics. These two graphics is really interesting. The first graphics is the curve for GDP of the past 2 millions. We might be worrying about the winter for the car industry, but as we can see from these graphics, the whole society of a human being will be only be moving forward and up. Especially look at the latest stage. So we should be confident about the market and also the future. If we think these 2 minimums is too long, and let's take a look. Oh, sorry. Let's take a look at the last century and towards the depression, the financial crisis. When some of the big events happened, the development of the economic, the lower one, economic will be influenced over the years, but there will not be a sudden downturn. A sudden downturn. The situation seems not so bad if we only look at the curves. These 2 elements. The use of the car and the buying elements will influence on the direction of the car industry. We can see only 2 points. 2 points if we can get rid of all the destruction. Technology, economic, many things. The first will be the change of the population. This is the most important reason. This can explain why it happened now, the current situation. And the other is change of the society wave. These 2 elements will influence the car industry directly. The change of the population is surely the most interesting link for China. Look at this. Maybe not so interesting, but many, many information inside. The use of I know that you might want to know more about China, especially what happened in China during those 50 years. Let's take a look at these graphics. The population did fluctuate, which can also be a weather forecast for Chinese economic. Look at this. The rise of the born of the after 80s rocketed Chinese economic, while the repression of the born of the after 90s will be pulling the automobile industry back to the ground from 2019 to 2025. Designers should not be blamed for the downturn of the car industry of this year. Many people complaining, your car is too ugly and also your car is not good design. No, it's not our fault. Look at these people. The after 90s is much less than the after 80s. Now, they start to buy cars, but don't expect they still buy so many cars as the after 80s. This population explains all the questions. Please notice note that the core of the Chinese population moved already from the 20s to 40s, now is to 30s to 50s. The age of the customers will be moving upward to an elder age, which should be attracting the notice of all the brands and also car designers. Before we said, we should design the car for young people. Really? Because the next 10 years, those people is not young anymore. Especially if they want to change another car, the second car is after 80s. They are most powerful and also they are more than the 90s. So it's a big question for every brand, every OEM, every companies. So target your clients. And who is your really, really clients? Maybe not only young people. Okay, before we talk about the internet, so we shouldn't ignore they call now the new generation in China is internet generation. Here also we can see different average and also different people. Different people have different requests for different cars. Look at this. This page is really important. If we take a look at the China from another dimension, this development of the internet from 1995 to 2018, please note that when the first internet company started, it was also the time for the born of the after 90s. So internet is not the question they will ask, I need or I don't need. It's part of the life, the living side. So which became the customer for the customers of the cars, the internet society accompanied them to grow. Look at the lower part. This is the apps they use and also the website changing. And now they use e-payment centered life. Recently I read a news from Japan. You guys started to use the e-payment. There are many problems. But guys, this is direction. Don't be scared. You don't be scared. You can solve that. Before also, Mr. Sao mentioned this price during one day is unbelievable. But behind this is the capability of the computer, how to calculate during one day. It's unbelievable. It's a capability for the manufacturing, and also it's a capability for the mathematics. I always ask my team, the people was born at the same time by the Double 11 sales reach, so billings will be our customer in the less than 20 years. So those people is our future clients. What will the future be? This is really trouble me. This is really trouble me because at the moment I'm still working. I'm not retired by then. So I must find the answer and how to design car for those people. Those people is really crazy. When they, ladies, gentlemen, everyone is crazy during this day. Looks like money is not belong to them and they just want to use that. But how many cars we sell? Also how many cars all the Chinese brands sell during this day. That will be a really interesting calculation. If we want to really analyze this, we shouldn't avoid this. We have to notice those, as designers, we have to understand that creativity should be the first to lead the development, but the creativity itself will also be influenced by the politics, society, and the science, economy, and also the environment. The new energy vehicle. The topic before came, and you guys want me to speak the new energy car, but frankly, new energy is only the small element in the future. The new energy vehicle are regarded as the historic creation, and China is the biggest market for the new energy vehicles. I would like to share my own opinion that the ICE car will not die out by 2028. So not everywhere is the electric car in the future. It's hybrid. While the new energy car vehicles will be taking a considerable share of the market. Frankly, at the same time, that the new energy vehicles should not be a change on the energy and also appearances. They should also be able to run the change of the new system of the commuting. Commuting is what we need to research. Based on the population structure and the society environment, I strongly believe that the user in China are influenced the chain reversely. The new people, the new marketing start to influence the traditional car design reversely. We can see the needs of the Chinese customer for commuting and influencing the industrial. The previous commuting has two basics: the drivership and also the ownership. The drivership and also the ownership. Today, the new commuting has influenced the basics, which is also challenging us. It's a big challenge. These two pillars is shocked. But what should we do? For example, if the case is only to travel from A to B, so before Simon mentioned from A to B, there are many solutions. But for an individual, for normal people, for you, yourself, if you travel from A to B, while the user or you doesn't care about the process, so the best solution would be we call this is a free wheel door. Open it, arrive it, so immediately. This is the best solution. Okay, it's in carton, like Mr. So said, it's in carton. Then no more suffer from the traffic jams and also headaches. What can this mean to a car designer? What will be the car looks like in the future? So for the new way of the commuting, there will be two solutions. One is still from A to B with different meanings, still from 1 to B. It can be changed from the meaning of commuting, and cars are no longer a tool for moving, but a hub for connection, for the values and also occasions. Became a new system. The second one, another way of commuting is that the car have become a media to be in a system as a component. Before, Toyota company, you guys already mentioned this. You totally redesign a system. I really admire and respect this. We need to redesign the whole system. Then those 2 points can be dependent for the revolution in the car industry, which can be highly discussed. The car design for the future should be a design for a commuting system, which was agreed by those Chinese and also Japanese car industrials. The concept from Toyota really stand out. It's a design for a system of defining a new concept, and it is more important is it is landing. This is a system. Car became a hub in the future for connection everywhere, everything. So the service, the human, object, activity, and also experience. So in future, is a system design is not only individual car design. Also here we can see, car became a hub or media to link with the user with all the new commuting system. Toyota have a really good job here. So under the new way of commuting, the car are no more a group of the individual. It becomes a part of the system as a hub of the connection to get most desirable service for the user anytime, anywhere can be to the two major elements for redesign the whole system. So here, I would like to show you some changes for the commuting. Let's watch the video. This is the APA 5-point valet parking system for the CS75 Plus. It achieved the valet parking while the owner stands outside the car with only a click on the phone. Because now Chang'an is focused on the autonomous car driving. This technology also can benefit the clients. This system also can search for the parking spot for parking, which can solve 95% parking issues if the width of the spot can be 71 centimeters more than that of the car. And in the same time, this key can be shared through Bluetooth for different authorization to the car. Sometimes you need to share the car. You don't need to share the key. You just send a digital code. You can choose to authorize only the truck or the whole car, and you can also retrieve the authorization after using it. With this one, you can even tell the delivery guy for placing your package into your trunk while you are miles away. This can create a lot of the convenience for the online shopping, and I think this can live in the future's internet scenario in China. Sometimes the car must become smart, but the car couldn't replace the driver. So the car can vitalize the people, can help the people, enhance the people's sense and also capabilities. Sometimes help you make a decision, avoid so many dangerous things. This is not a new technology, but merge all those technology in a car, and it's already there. It's not concept car. We already start to sell this car, have really good records, and also it's not so expensive. So normal people can join, normal people can spend, normal people can use so many good technology and also experience. Okay, time issue, What we did in one car, but behind this is a system. In building the commuting system, this is the real system. It's not only concept. This is what we are doing now. Chang'an has forward the Dubai city. We are reshaping the relationship between the car and the people. We are trying to build a platform open to the whole industry with integration, the resources, centering on the first Chinese internet ecosystem. First internet ecosystem. Because not so many people talk about the system, but establish the ecosystem in China is more important than anything, than an individual car. So design the system first. Later, we talk about the car. Then we have joined T-Novo smart system with the Tencent for integration, autonomous driving, air changing, and air cleaning system. Every technology fit with the people who use this car, daily life. It's not only a vision. They can use this immediately. Chang'an has been forming a whole commuting system for better experience. Okay, this is what Chang'an is doing for the new meaning and also new system. We want to try our best to share the innovation value with our customers and also vitalizing the people's life. Vitalizing them. This is the meaning is more important than make money. But this is not easy at all. I must say, this is not easy at all. We will only know now the car business in China is really good, but we will only know who's swimming nakedly when the tide comes down. The enterprise who can survive from the market can really take the lead. We choose to do the car design, and we want to change the world. Every designer wants to say this, but it's not because they are easy, but because they are hard. We choose to make people's life better and also vitalizing their life is not because they are easy, but also because they are hard. This is China, and this is Chang'an. We have to see the trend as the designers use to the IC cars. It will be a boost for the coming 10 years for the car industry. This is not only brought by the new energy vehicles, but also by the whole society. There will be more than the change of the appearance. The car designer should be designing for the solution, for the enterprise, for the new problems, and for the challenges more strategically. Okay, thank you for your listening.
Thank you. Thank you, Chen-san. You surely made us all think, as you have said.
That's my job.
Thank you very much. You have 7.5 minutes penalty.
I guess I get
Talking
2
about
minutes.
David, introducing David, please introduce yourself in the beginning,
Okay.
before the presentation.
Okay, sure, fine.
And you have no exceeding minutes.
No, I'm already out of
Could
time.
you
I've
stand
got
up?
1 minute.
Could you stand up?
Yeah, sure.
Thank you.
So, good morning. Konnichiwa. Cao Shen Kao.
Yeah, in Chinese.
Yeah, of course. I'll do it in Chinese, but that's okay. Yeah, my name is David Hilton. I started in this business about almost 30 years ago. So when I was a student, we didn't have internet. All we had was car styling as a reference. That's why we called it car stealing, because that was the only place to find anything for ideas. Then I started my career at Ford in the early 90s, which sent me around the world. I was at Ford Mazda in Hiroshima, Ford Volkswagen in Brazil, Ford England, Ford Germany, and then after that I started my own consulting company in the 2000s where I worked for probably about 25% of all the major OEMs in the world, consulting on automotive design and mobility. And then after that I worked as the head of exterior at Bentley Motors, and then had the great opportunity to be design employee #1 at NIO, which was a great adventure. And that, of course, brought me into China. And then lately I've been at GAC in Shanghai as as design director strategy and also for advanced design Shanghai. So that's my basic. What I want to talk about, and I think it's interesting that we're hitting on all the same points. The growth of China. I'm going to do this quickly because as Chen also said, I don't think it's as bad as we think it is, right? So if you look at the year-on-year growth, and I think that's kind of a mistake because the Chinese tend to look at year-on-year. And if last year wasn't as good as this year, there's panic, right? And the year-on-year has been fluctuational, but there's always been growth. Okay, this last year hasn't been as great as the other years, but it's still there. We could call it a downturn. I call it a correction because if you look at the big picture, you know, this is the reality if you look at the long-term picture. Sure, it's starting to flatten out, but I think it's a necessary correction in China. We can't be growing like this like crazy forever. It's not sustainable. So the pace of China consumers, this is really interesting, and I know everyone's aware of it, but I don't think you know it till you live it. It's insane. There is no money. Everyone's online bananas crazy. You get things instantly at your door, and if it's not fast enough, have a drone sent it. Yeah, it's getting to that level of absurdity in speed and consumption, and also the efficiency of the delivery system is just phenomenal. You can literally buy mosquitoes on Taobao, literally. Also, mobility, not only with sharing product, but also high-speed rail. China's a big country, but it is now very much connected through the high-speed rail network's growth. And within the cities themselves, we're seeing that the need for the automobile is reducing in the urban environment. But of course, I think the big disease in China, especially with the younger generation, is gaming. These guys are really addicted to this stuff, and they're completely, constantly online. So yeah, you're having your noodles, but they're just gaming at the same time. That's all they're doing. Seriously, I've seen it. And then they do that all night, and they sleep all day. Right? So it's instant pay, instant go, instant want, instant no. Yeah, that's the pace. That's the reality. It's consume as quick as you can. Throw it out, give me the next hot piece of butter. That's the reality of China. So how can OEMs keep up with this? By becoming relevant. Not staying relevant, but becoming relevant. So there's a few possibilities to do that. See, we're in the automotive business, and these things take time to get on the road in an environment where people are impatient. But we can keep up through lifestyle platforms, services, and upgrades. The first two being upgradable. So yes, the vehicle is an interactive internet car, sure it is, only because it is the quickest way to upgrade and stay relevant. Yeah, we're not going to make a whole new body in a month, but we can upgrade and stay relevant quite quickly. So how is GAC looking at these issues? So that sort of outlines the core problem of what I just mentioned, is there's a lot of pressure on China and Chinese companies to do all these things, to stay relevant, stay active, stay connected, stay viable, stay fresh, stay motivated. And it is difficult to do that with hardware. But there is two sides of the story, is the hardware and the software side of it. I like to use the words innovation and experience. I know they sound very generic, but I think it's an opportunity now in China not to say these things, but to do them. So as we say in America, put your money where your mouth is. If you're going to be an innovation, be number one at something. If you're going to provide experience, do it and be unique at it. So I'm going to show you how we're doing that now. This is the software side. So we've just launched this new system called Adigo. And Adigo, I think, is really quite clever. It has several different platforms: the Space, the ID, ePlan, Pilot, Adigo Character, and Adigo World. And of course, facial recognition, which the gentlemen have also touched on. So this system has just been launched recently and is very upgradable. So the Adigo Space, this is very deep, so I'm going to breeze over it, and then I'll get into the hardware stuff. But it's nothing really new, but it's something that we actually have to do. Yeah. So the Adigo Space is all about the theatrical experience, multiple sensory spaces, and a complete sound design that the user can design for themselves. So there's the sound psychologist, the sound programmer, because sight and sound are a very integral part of our mobility experiences, so they need to be concentrated on at the highest level. Also, what should an electric car sound like? That's another subject. Multiple control settings, fun 3D control modes, so interaction, interaction, interaction. Face ID, this is fairly new technology, but it all depends on how you use it. So the fatigue recognition, health monitoring, and instant personalization are really great for that. And also, instead of having to hit a button and say, I'm here, the vehicle recognizes who you are and instantly sets up everything in the vehicle to the settings that you want. It's all a matter of convenience. The ePlan is about worry-free charging, super energy mode, and a winter-long trip. Winter-long trip meaning that in foul weather you can actually get to where you need to go efficiently and not have to worry about charging. So you have active pile searching, active location recognition, and active navigation systems. So it's taking the fear mentally out of the whole electric vehicle. Yeah, we all have range anxiety, right? So this software helps avoid customers to have range anxiety. The Pilot, so it says high sensitivity imaging, clear function displays, and less visual dead angles. So the Pilot is a lot of the sensory things that most vehicles... I'm catch-22 on this because I love the fact that I can push a button and the car comes to me. But, you know, I like to drive, so I think there's going to be a funny catch-22 with that. I think that needs to be tailorable to how much it's going to do for you or how much you want to do with it. And, of course, display and AR systems are becoming more valid. I want to buck the screen wars. You know, you've got the button screen. It's like this. I'd like to open an insurance company for breaking those screens because I have a 3-year-old that likes to throw stuff. I think in the future, we're not going to, I think that's going to reverse. It's like the cup holder wars we had 20 years ago. I think the screen thing is getting a bit out of hand. So I'm hoping that AR systems that will be out in front of us will take that over soon. Get rid of these crazy.
1, 2, 3.
Oh. And there's a personality side of it. When I was at NEO, we came up with the Nomi, but the Adigo Adi, he's like a character that you can interact with, and it adds a bit of a fun factor to the whole thing.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah, so Xiao touched on the cartoon factor. I think that's important. We need to have something in the vehicles that bring it a little bit more personal. We shouldn't forget that. It shouldn't just be a bunch of buttons we push, but someone there. The Audigo World touches on the ecological systems. So this is a feedback system. You gain points for improving the environment by doing certain activities. It's interactive. You can become a star. There's this system set up in China that I think Alibaba started. It's that whole world. It's really fascinating. So this touches into that. And again, it's all about growing with the users. So that's the experience side of it that we're trying to push. And this will have a Gen 2 and a Gen 3 that's going to move beyond. So this is really just Gen 1. Now, let's talk about the hot subject, the EV race. This is the hardware side. This is where innovation comes in, and this is where you need to be number one at something. Look at this. Yes, EVs are not going away. By 2030, the projections are huge. And China is going to be leading quite a bit of that, not just on the consumer level, but hopefully also in the development level. So what are answers to this? Some of them are here now, and some of them are coming soon. So GAC has a broad portfolio of 35% EVs and hybrids. That's quite strong, and that number will be going up. Just last week, we launched the Ion LX. It's a sport SUV crossover with some really impressive numbers. It has a CD value of under 2.9, 650-kilometer range, 0 to 100 under 4 seconds, top spec at 408 brake horsepower, and it is the first SUV with level 3A autonomous driving. That's innovation. And of course, a pretty cool signature look. So let's talk about the near future demands. Survival, and the other gentlemen have touched on this also. Survival, how to get there, how are we going to do it? I think it's going to involve three things: a clear identity, strong pillars, meaning strong brand pillars. What do you stand for? What do you do? Why do you do it? How do you do it? If you don't have compelling answers to these questions, you're not in the game. And of course, meaningful stories. Who are you? Why do I care? And when is it going to come real for me? Storytelling is a big picture of brand. You can do it through object, you can do it through the hardware and the software, you can prove it through your innovations, but in the end you have to have a connection. I always say you hit the money pocket first, and then you hit the heart second, and you're good. So we plan on continuing the family experiences and innovations moving forward. Recently, last year, we launched the To All, To You, and To Us. They were a set of vehicles for the family, but for each individual family member. Specifically, the To You was a customizable vehicle, so it's one vehicle that does 3 completely different jobs. One is customizable, the other one is all about car sharing. And I'm glad Chen Sen mentioned on this is the older generation. The To Us is really for how to take care of what is going to become the next boom of older generations. Most Chinese companies think, oh, tailor to the young, tailor to the young. Well, that generation's coming. You've got to think about what they need, definitely. And that's a big part of our being successful moving forward in China. And then earlier this year, we launched the Entrance, which is the family weekend road trip getaway vehicle. So its innovations were all about maximizing space and, of course, utilizing what a family would need on a weekend trip away. So there's a lot of really interesting innovations in this product if you look into it. So coming soon, and this is my final slide in my teaser. So I'm here to say that at the Guangzhou Auto Show next year, we're going to extend the family concept by creating an innovation that's going to break a world record. Oh, no, we already did it. And also, we're going to have a compelling experience story in the inside of the vehicle. So innovation, we've gotten a world record at something that you'll see in a month. And then we'll have a compelling innovation for the interior and experience that extends the family story. So please come by Guangzhou, November 22nd, to see our all-new innovation and experience vehicle. So thank you very much. Arigatou gozaimasu. Oh, and I'm
Thank
under
you,
time.
David.
And I'm under time. Good. I don't
Very
get a
good
penalty,
boy.
right? No
Good boy.
penalty.
Yes. Thank you very much for each presentation. It was really identical and exciting. Regardless the time you spent, it was really good. I'm sure that the audience enjoyed your presentation. Here we still have some time. to discuss and asking you some of the your view of Chinese car industries, and especially we are not going to talk about the technology or innovation, but we are going to talk about the design. Here, I would like to start with the agenda, this NEV, N-E-V, New Energy Vehicle. But I'm not going to talk about this new energy vehicle itself. Let's talk about the policy itself. The government provided you with this very strict policy, I think, which will influence to your design. And I would like to ask you, how would it influence you to your design for the future car in China? Xiao, would you like to start?
Yeah.
EV policy, new energy vehicle policy will influence you to your design. So how?
Just like you said, Chinese government puts us a lot to work for EV car design, and in fact we did a lot. But we need to find who will buy the EV car in future, and in China very important, because they push us to develop the car, but who buy? And currently in China, somebody who buy the EV car is focused on number license. You know, the Shanghai number license is so expensive. Even number license number expensive than car. And this is leading by government strategy. And some people just don't care design. They feel I need a license, I need a car. This is very important for them. And the second group who buy the EV car, new energy car, they feel the car need to be a toy. They have money, very rich. When they buy the car, they feel a different feeling, different experience. And also, they want to set up different image. And a lot of people ask me how your company is successful in the EV cars. To be honest, for me, I think we did a lot for low-cost EV cars, but difficult to luxury EV cars because the image is different. When people buy the car, they said this comes from SAIC, the biggest OEM in China. You are a traditional car company. And if I buy the low-cost car, it's okay. I focus on number license. If for toys, your image is too old. I think this is a big issue for all the big OEM in China. I think he worked for NIO. NIO's image is very, very fresh. And the founder is very young and show the image to the public. It looks like Tesla's founder, Elon Musk. So it's a crazy guy, but some fans I want to be this kind of guys. So in the future, how to do the EV car, it's not car design. It's not car design. It's system design. It's car design and also image design. You need to think about who will lead in the image of EV car with your brand, and also service design. All together. It's not only Chinese me. You need to design really crazy EV car. I said, it's difficult.
So, Xiao-san, you are saying that the new energy vehicle policy would have made you, the designer, design not only the vehicle itself, but also the system,
Yes.
services,
Yes.
and that is the influence.
Yes.
You are saying.
If
that
only
you
for
have.
car design, it's not successful in future.
Only
I
for
believe.
car design means vehicle design, hardware
Vehicle
design.
yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
good, interesting. Chen-san, you touched about this new energy vehicle policy in your presentation.
Yeah.
But how would you see this new energy vehicle policy influences to your design?
First question, David, did you feel any pressure under those policy in China?
Oh yeah, oh definitely.
You feel that pressure?
Oh yeah. Oh, I got stories.
But frankly, my feeling is, I think almost 3,000 years ago in China, the Sun Tzu mentioned one thing is, in the competition, in the war, and also in the market, in the business, it's the same. Know yourself and also know your enemy, or you know your competitors. More important thing is know yourself. There's two meaning. First meaning is who you are and what you can do, and your own capability. But the most important thing is who you design for whom. So know yourself, know your real clients. So I believe in the end, the policy request and also the marketing request or the individual client's request, I think in the end we will find the balance. So policy just one direction. Frankly, our company, we didn't feel any pressure about this because we really have faith. We believe the real marketing principle.
In other words, you have no influence from the policy. Is that what you are saying?
No. No influence is not correct, very precisely.
Little influence.
I don't call it influence, just a new environment, but a new policy to do that. And also, EV car, new energy car is part of our production, so it's that matter.
Okay.
I think in the future will be really hybrid situation, and also Chinese market is really huge and also have a really big tolerance and many different way can survive there, no problem.
So in other words, the policy itself will encourage you to have more motivation to design the new vehicle for the market.
Yes, more motivation, and especially in China, not only huge, not so many people, also have a really different levels needs. And mega city, they have a different way. Like Mr. Sao said, in Shanghai, in Beijing, you have a really strictly policy to limit that. So you only buy the EV car, have the number board. Okay, but after that, the second level, the third level, even the sixth level, every level's people, they have a totally different request. So the marketing is not only the big, also really rich, really many different requests. So that's our target, that's our clients.
Good.
We design for them.
Sounds positive.
Should
Very
be,
nice.
should be.
David?
Yeah, I mean, I agree. The irony of China is when a policy drops, it drops like now. I mean, when the whole two-wheel scooter thing went from one day to the next day, they all had to be EV. It just happened overnight, right? But sometimes when these policies drop, the consumers and even the companies sometimes get caught with their pants down. For example, in Shanghai on July 1, the government suddenly said, boom, as of today, we're going to have recycling, right? So all the bins were gone instantly, even in the apartment I live in Shanghai, and then suddenly you had these 3 different colored bins. And people weren't really trained how to use it. They looked at these 3 bins like, well, okay, I'll put that. Okay, right, I can read. I put these, this, and this. So it's starting to catch on, recycling. But then the next day, I saw the truck come, and the guy from the truck for the recycling thing takes one bin, puts it in the other, and puts the other one in the third, and took it all away. So where was the recycling in that, right? It's just like, all right. So a lot of these policy changes, they come hard and they come quick, and it's difficult to be prepared for them because sometimes you know they're coming, sometimes you don't. For example, all the incentives for the EV plates and that last year and the year before were really good, but in Shanghai that's changed. So there's no monetary, it's still there, but it's not as good as it was a couple years ago to have an EV vehicle. So to adapt to that, it's actually kind of tricky because you don't know exactly what's going to happen when exactly, but I think the best thing, as they were saying, is just make sure you have all your bases covered. That's probably the smartest thing to do. And if you know of one area that you're pretty sure is going to be a hit, then sure, you go for it in that respect. But these policies happen quick, hard, and sometimes they're shocking for both sides, but the adaptability is there. It'll get there. Yeah.
So you are saying that you can be very flexible.
You have to be. Yeah, definitely.
Have to be.
Get your
Okay.
garbage right now.
Thank you. So overall, it's really positive. You know, whatever the policy comes tomorrow or even today, you guys are ready to design for the new vehicle.
I have to be, yeah.
Okay, let's move into the second question I have. You know, all presentation touched about internet and the younger generation and things like that. So China is one of the most advanced internet open nation. Although the automotive industries are quite young still. You are saying, Xiao-san, you are saying you are the chaser. But thinking about this younger generation people in the market, although you are saying the targeting towards more senior people, but how would you think, Xiao-san, how to how the this younger generation people in the market, how to give the motivation to purchase or to own a vehicle or to drive down the new vehicle. Young people seems like they have less motivation to go for purchasing, ownership, or drivership, as you mentioned. How would these young people would influence to your design, car design? Could you speak up somehow?
This is very good questions and a very hard question for the designer to answer. I can share my feeling. I worked at Volkswagen brand before. 12 years I work in Wolfsburg so long time. At that time I asked young people in Germany. They told me I never buy a car very young because I really poor, not enough money. I rent a car. When old, I get a really sports car. It's for myself. But China totally different. The young customers, they buy, they not rent a car. I don't know this money come from who? Come from parents or come from himself? Normally come from parents, So parents pay money for kid buy the car. So they really want to buy the car for themselves. It's not like before. Before they buy the first car for family, for everything, they too much pressure from family. Now they change. The trend is they think about themselves. And the second trend is another samples. While I'm a kid, sometimes I'm hungry, I'm crying. And my mother just gave candy to me. I stop crying. I eat candy, really laughing, really happy. But now I have two kids, small kid, 2 years old. When she crying, I didn't give candy to her. I gave mobile phone to her. And he touched screen and laughing. Totally different. And he know how to touch screen, It's crazy. So this time changed. And also, for example, Mercedes-Benz is big screen, but you can't touch. You need to control it. This for Chinese people, no. They want to touch. So even this control, they told them there's more safety than you touch screen when you drive touch. No, they still, I don't want this, I want touch. So you will see a lot of car design for interior changed or adjust because the custom is behavior different. We must focus this kind of people, customers, because they are growing up different than before. And he said also, in the future, young people will know a lot of old people, but I don't care. Because the big noise from internet is young people. And the young people's voice influence a lot of customers. And even
so how would they influence you as a designer?
I have a strong strategy team, and a strong interface team, and a strong interior team. So for exterior, I told them, sorry, don't make a mistake. Interior team, please hurry, do something new things. It's my strategy. Yes.
Interesting. Very simple, but very important. David, would you like to speak up about this?
He's hitting on a lot of the points I've mentioned also, but I've also found that if you want to tailor vehicles to the youth in China, tailor it to the IE. Tailor it to the grandma and the mom, because they are the influencers generally on what the family should have. So, that happens a lot.
That's
but
interesting.
Yeah, true. I mean, there's still, in America, you need to have a vehicle because of distance. In Europe, we don't need to have vehicles at all, period. He's absolutely right. The youth don't want vehicles in Europe. In China, there's still pressure to own the vehicle, have the house, get married. These cultural pressures are still there. However, I do think there's going to, eventually there'll become this wave where the youth will say, well, why am I doing this? I don't need this stuff. And then bang, they won't want any of these vehicles anymore. And you have to be ready for that. And that's going to be into the car sharing, the mobility, the services, the lifestyle platforms. So tailoring to the young, on one side, he's absolutely right in that they're quite well educated because they read. They read the reports of what car is good and not, and then they blog. So they're actually quite well informed, even though they've probably never touched a vehicle, say. But then, of course, at the moment, this ownership thing that comes from the parents down, oh, I've read that this car is really good, you should get that car. There's that, too. But I think the wave's going to come where the youth will just say, you know, I don't need this. It'll come. I don't know when, but we have to be ready.
Good. Your view is really interesting. So, Chen-san.
Yeah. I think this question...
Before you start,
Yeah, okay.
could you make it
No problem.
little
2
bit
points.
short? Yes. Yes.
2 points. You
Yes.
should do it to him.
Yes, because they covered pretty much.
Okay,
Yes.
okay.
And if you have different opinion,
Totally
please.
different.
Okay.
Because this question is not about the ages.
That makes me think.
This question is not about the ages. So don't think about young, old. It's about their mentality, the client's mentality, and also their scenario for using the car. So design for this is easy. Really simple example. And now the people's life in China, not about the ages, young and elder, they are really busy and really anxiety. So they don't need any bizarre design. They need a really calm down. Especially recently, talk about many philosophy about Zen, about how to peaceful and their life should be simple. So for the design trend, their trend should follow those mentality and also scenario trend. Then should become more calm down and simple. Simple can give them good inspiration. Second thing is about, in my speech, I already answered this. The car became the hub, became the center of the information. It's not a simple car, it's not a simple transportation. So why is it like this? Because the people want to connect with so many people, with another connection. Car became their tools, then car became the connection center, then design for this. And this is a really great opportunity for us. That's why everybody do the internet car, the smart UI, and also the autonomous driving. So many technology just support this point. That's good.
Chen-san, thank you very much. You touched a broader part of our agenda we are talking about. We are not just talking about the younger generation people, but it's a mentality, and it's a center of information, connectivity. So that would lead to our last agenda to discuss. Chinese automotive industries are, I said, quite young, but as you said, we have some history. So I would think that this is the time to think about China original unique vehicle design development. So how would you see the Chinese original vehicle design development for the future? So this is my last agenda. It looks generic, but it's very focused. Chinese original unique design development. David, you want to start?
Yeah, that's a tough one, because if you look at, in the Western world, we've been developing vehicles for 100 years. Yeah, America has its history going back 100 years, and there's so much you can pull out of that, stories and classics. And then phase two, you look at Japanese design. I love early 70s, late 60s Toyotas and Datsuns and the
Simon
B210s.
also touched.
I love that. They're
Honda
great.
design.
But then when it comes to China, we look at ancient Chinese car design, so 10 years. Yeah, it's not a lot of time. So the time hasn't come yet where you could pull a sort of a history out of it, I don't think, at least in automotive design. I think there's a lot of things we're trying to do to make the vehicles modern, but culturally relevant. I think that's the key issue, is to try and be more culturally relevant than, say, design relevant for what vehicles have been done in the past. I mean, in Shanghai, there's no buildings over 20, 30 years old. I work in a building that the structure is 100 years old and it's under a historical monument thing. So even that consumption pace, to look back at something that is older in industry, it just doesn't exist. So you're kind of having to draw off things that are not physical but more cultural and try and make that relative to the vehicles and their designs for the people, because I think we're entering a phase now that hopefully in 10 years or 20 years we'll look back and go, oh, that's when China really became its own identity. And I think we're actually entering that now. So it's not a past thing, it's a now going on.
That's interesting. This young design leader from the local brand, apart from these, different from these people, you are from outside as a Westerner.
Yeah.
So you see different phenomena in China, Chinese industry.
Yeah.
So that's very interesting view from me. So Chen-san, how would you see the Chinese original unique vehicle design development?
This question sounds really easy, but frankly, it's hard to answer because I'm thinking this every second, every day. For sure, the traditional styling design, I think, is not anymore can exist in the world. If we only do the pure styling, this is not okay. Now, the request from society, from the enterprises, more request to the designer and especially the design department. We need to do more UX design. We need to do the service design. We need to do system design. In the end, it looks like we should redesign all the company. So redesign, in deeply, we should redesign the people's mentality. So it's a really big challenge for every design group in the company, especially the traditional business. For example, the NEO, we said, oh, okay, new company, very good job for now. But for me, I think the most great contribution is the service design. They are really famous on this. Frankly, I became a half fans for that after I know that one. I know the service is unbelievable. I want to be a client.
I think the discussion is more towards the Chinese original against or versus to other French or German,
It's coming.
Japanese.
It's
yes?
coming. Because the design is chemistry. So many elements, society, culture, economy, and also technology, so many changes. It takes time. It shouldn't be suddenly it's come out. No, it takes time, and please be patient, everyone. And
Okay.
it's coming soon.
Okay, thank you, Chen-san. So Xiao-san, we are running out of time. So summing up, so
No
what
time?
what is Chinese original design development for you?
Okay, we are on the way. I can't say we are already get the target, but we are on the way. And I want to take a chance to say a lot of Chinese designers want to use Chinese element on the car, and even they want to talk about the Chinese element for their car design. So I think this is the wrong way. So we can't put some animals' face, Chinese animals' face, Chinese elements on the car. That tells me we are Chinese car design. This is totally wrong. But how can do the Chinese car design to show people, tell people this is from China? It's a very difficult thing. They are touch these topics. And I want to give the answer is I think Toyota, Honda, Nissan all set up the design studio in China. They did a lot of research. They also research what Chinese thinking. I don't know they are getting the result or not, but I feel in the future the Chinese word 大气 is still very important for us, because we don't care the Chinese traditional element, but we care traditional Chinese thinking. 大气 is totally, it's big word. It's not feel the 大气 is da, house is da. It's sometimes I say you really 大气. It's totally different word. But in the new time, we need to give the 大气 another word is modern 大气. So this our team need focus. What's the new time, new modern Dutch for Chinese car design? This is my answer. I don't know.
Good.
Time is enough.
Thank you. Thank you. So time is running up.
Yeah.
So I was going to ask some couple of questions from the audience, but it seems like time
No
time
question.
up.
No
So
question.
thank you very much for your fantastic presentation. And how about the hand for these?
Thank you.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Could you please stay on the stage for a very short photo opportunity? ちょっとフォトセッションをさせていただきたいと思います。